Hi everybody, Shanahan here, and I think we're up and running. Looks good. Feel free to comment if there's a problem. Well, I suppose if there's a problem, I won't get your comment. But I am incredibly happy to be here with you virtually as a part of the Earth Day Virtual Festival. It's really exciting to be invited to do this. Special thanks to Carla Haynes for inviting me to be a part of this and the organizers of this amazing event at Touch Mother Earth. It's a really great opportunity to be here with you, and I also feel like this pandemic is a great opportunity for us to really see the impact that we humans have on the Earth, and it's something to really be aware of on this 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It's amazing to see when all human activity stops exactly how much that impact we're having on the Earth is how significant that impact is. And I'm sure there are a lot of other people who will be speaking during this festival who have a lot more knowledge about that than I do, so I will let the scientists talk about that. But it's an interesting thing to be aware of in this very interesting moment. So I also know that like another thing that I've become aware of is I'm very happy to be a musician because I feel like it provides me with a direct link to the earth and nature every time I pick up an instrument and make music. As I'm sure many of you know, everything around us and we ourselves are constantly vibrating. And what is vibration but sound? So I feel like when I pick up an instrument and make it vibrate, I'm connecting with that vibration of the earth itself. So it's quite a gift to be connected to the earth regularly like that. And I also, obviously the way that humans first started making music was by imitating the sounds of nature that were around them, whether it was the sounds of the birds or the sounds of the roaring wild animals or the waterfall or the rain. Using our voices to imitate nature was a really important step in the process of creating music. And of course the next step was picking up things around us to make sound, whether it was hitting two sticks together or stomping on the ground or hitting sticks on the ground or hitting logs with sticks, hollowing out those logs then to get a different sound, and then eventually stretching skins across those logs to create drums. So the voice and the drums were the first instruments used to create music. So I feel very connected to that when I pick up an instrument and start playing. So I'm going to play a little bit for you now on this large frame drum, which many believe to have been the first membranophone ever created by humans. And a membranophone is an instrument whose sound is made by a membrane or a skin in this case. And this frame drum, they believe, developed out of humans' use of a sieve for sifting grain, and they think it was the first membranophone ever created by humans. And this one in particular, though, is designed by my friends up at Cooperman Frame Drums, and it's modeled after the Irish drum, the bowron, which is usually played with a stick, but this one is designed to be played with the hands, similar to the way they're played in the Middle East. And I'll be combining a bunch of different techniques from around the world, including the Middle East, some Irish techniques and some Indian techniques, Central Asian techniques, Persian techniques, all on this Irish style drum to create kind of a unique sound. I'll also be incorporating a little bit of throat singing from Central Asia. It's believed to have originated in Tuva, which is in the center of Asia, close to Mongolia. And I feel like that's a really nice way to connect with this drum And again, that combination of drums and percussion, the most ancient ways of making music, percussion and voice, the first two ways that humans started making music is a very exciting and meaningful experience for me. And it's quite healing, actually, especially in these times when everybody's looking for ways to stay healthy. This is one of the ways that I do it. And I hope that you enjoy this exploration on this large frame drum. And also the sounds of the Brooklyn streets. Exploration on this large frame drum. I thought I might also give you a little bit of background on myself. I started off as a drum set player. I grew up in the middle of the woods on top of a hill in the Finger Lakes region of western New York State, and I was constantly running around the woods with my dog, playing in the creek and in the hills and in the trees, and always enjoying that connection with nature. And the other great thing about being there in the middle of the woods was, of course, that I could play my drums as loud as I wanted, whenever I wanted, and that was a beautiful thing. So I started off as a drum set player, and then got into Western classical music and ended up going to conservatory to study Western classical music. And then while I was there, I got exposed to these different drumming traditions from around the world, and they really spoke to me because they had the percussion in the front of the orchestra, because as you know, in a Western orchestra, the percussionists are in the back. So a lot of these traditions, like the African and the Middle Eastern and the Indian traditions, the percussion's a very important part of it. It's very much in the front. So that was really appealing to me. And some ensembles are made up of just percussion. So that was also really fascinating to me and something I really wanted to be a part of. So I started exploring all these different drums, and the guy who really ignited my interest in this was a guy named Glenn Velez, who is revolutionized the way that frame drums are played, and he's a master percussionist and composer. And he really changed my trajectory. So if you don't know him, check him out for sure, Glenn Velez. And it was a pleasure to be able to study with him. And when I moved to New York after school, I started playing with him, and have been doing so somewhat regularly for the past over 20 years, up until just recently, of course, when everything kind of stopped. So that really kind of changed my direction, and a big part of what he is about, and what I love to do is this combination of different techniques from around the world, and finding how different traditions complement each other. So the next piece I'm going to do for you is a piece on this Arabic tambourine, and it is again combining different drumming styles and techniques from many different places, but also I'm going to be using some vocalizations taken from South Indian music, and there's a really great system in South India of different syllables designating different time cycles. So a 2-beat time cycle can be designated as taka, and a 3 is takita, and a 4 takadimi, and a 5 tadiginaton. So you have these basic building blocks, and with each one of these, by combining these different building blocks, you can create basically any time cycle that you want. So I'm going to do an exploration of the time cycle of 7. So I'll be taking the 4 and adding it to the 3 to get takadimi, takita, and I'll be using that vocalization intermittently throughout the piece to create a different kind of texture and resonance and a counterpoint to the sound of the drum itself. And so again, this is a Arabic style tambourine. This one again is made by the guys up at Cooperman frame drums, and it's like the regular tambourine that you're familiar with. It's again a frame drum. It has a skin stretched across a simple frame, but this obviously has jingles, much like the regular tambourine that you're familiar with. The difference being that these jingles are bigger and thicker than regular tambourine jingles, so that allows you to play on the jingles themselves with your fingers, as well as getting the basic sounds that you get out of the other frame drums. So as I mentioned that, let me just mention some of the basic sounds. The low-pitch sound we call doom, and that's done by striking the drum closer to the middle, and that's the low sound. The talk is the high-pitched sound that you get by playing your finger on the edge of the drum. And then there's also a muted sound called the pa that's achieved by striking in the very center of the drum and letting your fingers stick on the skin so that you get that nice muted sound, which is very distinct from the fully resonant doom and the high-pitched talk sound. So we have doom, talk, and pa. Those same three sounds are available on this rick. You have the doom, the talk, and the pa. In addition, again, to being able to play on the jingles. So this, again, is a little exploration of 7-beat time cycle on the rick using South Indian vocalizations. Ta, ga, di, mi, ta, ki, ta, 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 so much for being here. As a part of this 50th anniversary celebration of Earth Day. Again, that was an exploration on the Arabic tambourine known as the rick. I now also moved to playing another frame drum that I'm actually been working with the guys at Cooperman to develop a new design, and it incorporates a lot of different things that you'll hear a little bit of in this next piece, and I hope to continue to work with them once all of this clears, and so stay tuned for more information about this custom designed signature series drum from me and Cooperman. I will also be using a Turkish derbuka, which is traditionally played like this on the lap. But I'll be playing it in this fashion so that I can combine it with the frame drum that I just showed you to create a kind of a more interesting combination of sounds. And to join me on this last piece that I'll be presenting for you today, I would like to welcome to the stage Sabrina Haim Ladani, who will tell you a little bit about the song that we're going to play together.
Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. We are lucky to be quarantined here together, to be able to be partners, but also to make music together. I've been listening to a lot of music from my childhood lately, and kind of rediscovered this tune by a 17th century Yemenite poet, Rabbi Shalom Shabazi, who some call the poet of Yemen. On my father's side were Yemenite Jews, and I would often listen to this song as a child, so it's been a lot of fun to rediscover it with Shane on the various drums. And it's called Imin Alu, and then it was later made quite famous by the late Yemenite Israeli singer Ofra Haza, who set it to music as well, and she was kind of a pop icon. Some called her the Madonna of Israel back in the 80s. So she recreated the song in the 80s, and then it was kind of a global sensation. Imin Alu.
you, Sabrina Haim Ladani.
Thank you, Shane Shanahan.
And thank all of you for being here with us for this celebration of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And stay tuned and check out all of the amazing offerings from the virtual Earth Day Fest. A lot of great things happening, and thank you again to the organizers, Touch Mother Earth, and again, special thank you to Carla Haynes for inviting me to be a part of this. And stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you all very much.
Lots of love.